Listen, could you tell me how I could find Chief Brody? Chief Brody.
Chief Brody's office.
Chief Brody.
Chief?
Hey, Chief! Chief Brody! Hey, Chief! Brody. Brody.
Chief Brody.
Chief?
Chief Brody.
Yes? I'm Brody.
I want to know more about what you do here.
It's all a lot of simple tricks and nonsense.
Can you do that?
I can do anything. I'm the chief of police.
Hello there, this is ChiefBrodyRules, aka Frank Ireland, and something has just happened. My YouTube channel has crossed over 10,000 subscribers.
10,000?
But, my lord, there is no such force.
That's just incredible, and I owe it all to... I can't believe that video crossed over 2 million views. I can't believe that even got 1 million views. It's ridiculous. I made that video just to be temporary. You know, I wanted to make my main video, Frozen Global Meltdown. But that caught on like wildfire because the Frozen is huge and popular. It's great. I'm glad, you know, Disney's popular again. And people love Frozen.
So I get a donkey, and now the money thing.
I like Frozen. With that being said, I wanted to do something cool, something special. My friends have been asking me for a long time, what are your favorite Disney movies? You gotta tell us your favorite Disney movies. Even my YouTube subscribers ask me what my favorite Disney movies are. So this video is gonna be about my top 10 favorite Disney movies. And now this is my favorite movies. These are the ones I would pick if you were to put all 53 Disney movies in front of me and say, here, pick 10. These ones I would pick first. They're not the best of all time. Some of them are. But, you know, these are just my personal favorites. And after the video's over, you could totally tell me your top 10 favorite movies. I'm interested. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'll try to be funny along the way. I'll try not to be boring. But thank you, 10,000 subscribers, and enjoy this video. That I made for educational purposes.
And now, our feature presentation.
This video, I'm going to start from 10 and work down to number 1. So my number 10 on my list is 101 Dalmatians.
101!
101?
Yes, 101 Dalmatians is my number 10 pick for my favorite Disney movies. To me, it looks good. I like the look of it. It's very different because before this, all Disney movies were all like clean, animated, and they were all like fancy and nice. So this one, it seemed like you were looking at a sketchbook. You know, it's because they were using a new technique. You know, it's called Xeroxing. It's because Disney Studios was kind of going broke because of Sleeping Beauty because they spent so much on it. But that's, you know, that's just the background stuff. But the look of it, I like the look of it. It's very unique. It looks like you're looking at a sketchbook. It looks like you're looking at the drawings. I love the character designs. I love the look of Anita. To me, Anita is one of the great-looking female characters of the Disney universe.
Ah.
I like her design. I also like Roger's design. It's really unique. I like his big nose, his hair. I also like just the world of it. I like how he's like a piano player and he works on music, and his office and his play space is like kind of messy, and it shows like a bachelor pad. It's like something you've never seen before in an animated movie. I also like the Canine Crunchies commercial in the middle with Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt!
Come on, Thunderbolt!
And that's really cool. I like how like the dogs are watching TV. I also like later in the movie when Horace and Jasper are watching TV. They're watching this weird game show about a criminal where they're supposed to like, what's my crime?
Mr. Fawnswater is a burglar by trade, but in this case his crime was not burglary. I'm sorry, the answer is no.
To me that's like really weird, but it's so fun. It's like it builds the world of this. I also like Cruella de Vil. She's a very creepy villain.
Poison them, drown them, bash them in the head.
I don't care how you kill the little beast, but do it! And do it now!
Think about it, like a woman who wants to kill puppies for their fur. That's kind of fucked up, right? So I just like this movie. I also like the tension scene at the end where the dogs are trying to escape and they have to cover themselves in black soot just to get past her. It's it's very tension filled. You could feel it, and you're worried about these dogs. It's really great. I also like the side characters, Sergeant Tibbs.
I say, Sergeant.
And the dog, the sheepdog.
Blasted old Tibbs on the double, man, on the double.
Oh, Colonel, sir. It's fantastic. I also like, oh, what is it, Danny, the little dog?
Tell me, Danny. Tell me.
I like the whole thing. It's so cool. It's like, it builds up the universe. I also like the little cameos from Lady and the Tramp in this. It's really cool. I like this movie. So number 9 on my list is Fun, and Fancy Free. You guys might have never ever heard of this. I never even heard of this. It wasn't until 2012 I started watching this. Some of you might not know. Some of you might know already, of course, if you watch this channel or know me personally. But in 2011, I made the Sin City trailer mashup.
Looking for Nancy Callahan?
Eyes to the stage, Pilgrim. She's just warming up.
And it required me to rewatch some old Disney movies I haven't watched in years. So after I watched them, it was like maybe 11 or 12 of them I watched just to make that video. I'm like, hey, you know what? Let me try to make a goal for next year. I want to watch all 51, I think at the time it was, 51 animated Disney features. And I'm going to watch them all. So I was watching them all, and I discovered Fun, and Fancy Free. I think it's called Fun and Fancy Free, but I'm so used to it. Fun, and Fancy Free. But anyway, it's a story about Jiminy Cricket, of course, breaking and entering like he always does, because, you know, Jiminy Cricket's the best.
Your mom isn't here, honey. But if I can be of service, the name is Cricket. J. Cricket. You could call me Jiminy.
So he goes in, and he finds this record player, and he starts listening to this record, and it tells us a story about Bongo. So Bongo is this little circus bear. He's great, and he does all of these tricks.
Why, he could juggle and dance while on a trapeze. Walk a tightrope with the greatest of ease.
But he's miserable because, you know, circus folk are mean. So he wants to be in the real world. He wants to live in the wilderness. He wants to be like a real bear. So he daydreams about that. And then one day, he falls off the train and lands in the woods. And he's in paradise. And then he realizes, like, oh, God, I'm in the wilderness. This is horrible. And he's like, he misses his, you know, nice comfy bed. He misses that world. But then he finds this girl bear and he falls in love. And there's like this fantastic little sequence where they're like in the clouds and whatnot. They're just Twitter-pated, you know. And then he runs into this mean bear. And then like she slaps him and he thinks, oh no, she hates me. But then it turns out slap means they're in love. And it's completely weird to watch this story about how abusing the woman is actually how you show they love them.
The bear likes to say it with a slap.
And it's just weird and funny. And it's just Bongo is such a great little story. That alone, Bongo alone makes this worthy of number 9. But there's another part of the story. So after Jiminy Cricket finishes the story of Bongo, he takes off the record and he starts reading the people's mail. You know, because, you know, since he broke into their house, he might as well look at their mail. So he looks at the mail and he finds this invitation about this party across the street. And he goes across the street to this party where he's not invited to. He's like, you know what, I'm just going to drop in and see what's going on. And it's the most creepiest thing. But it's not, at the time it probably wasn't creepy, but now you watch it, it's kind of creepy, but it's so funny. But there's this little girl who was invited by this older man who has puppets. And these puppets, I'm guessing, are supposed to be real people in this movie, but it's so fucking weird.
Some candy. Care for a cigar.
But it's so funny because these puppets have personality. There's Mortimer like, oh, Red Barn, oh.
Now try and paint a mental picture.
Yeah, I painted a barn once, I did.
Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it was a red barn, it was, yeah.
And then there's Charlie, where he's so fucking... He's such a dick. He's such an asshole.
I am the giant. You are not. You're nothing of the kind. Well, I'm the small giant. No, you're not. I'm tougher than 40 men.
But anyway, this guy who invited a little girl over, it's her birthday party, and he's telling the story about Mickey Mouse and how there's this magic harp, and it gets stolen by this giant, and then the beanstalk grows, and they go up and they meet the giant. Fee, fi, fo, fum.
Fee, 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 fee. Fee, fee. I don't know no fee, fee.
And it's really funny. It's really great. It's just, I don't know. I really love the story. I love the weirdness of the puppets and Edgar Bergen.
28. I thought you were a little bit older than that. Well, I knocked off a few years for good behavior.
I love that Jiminy Cricket downs that whole drink.
That calls for a drink.
And also like the whole story about Mickey Mouse selling the fucking cow for beans.
If you plant these beans in the light of a full moon, you know what'll happen? Yes, we get more beans.
It's just fantastic, full little moments. And just to show you how much I love this movie, it's like when I went to Disney World last year, there's this store that is themed after the fucking Fun and Fancy Free cartoon. And I geeked out on it. I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing! The store actually has the giant opening up the roof. It's so great. That's a reference to the cartoon, and I just geeked out about it. Number 8 on my list is
The Little Mermaid.
I wouldn't miss it.
This is a recent addition because I had never seen this before 2012. I know you're going to yell at the screen, "What, Frank? You never seen Little Mermaid when you were a kid?" I think I did once, but I don't remember it. But anyway, in 2012, I discovered The Little Mermaid, and I just loved it. I liked The Little Mermaid so much, it inspired me to do an entire recut of the whole film. Honestly, it sparked my imagination. Usually when I do a video, it's only 5-10 minutes long, but there was something about The Little Mermaid where I had like a ton of jokes for it, so I did an entire recut.
This is what happened. This smoking hot catfish peeks above the water and sees a sexy man, and then falls in love. And
Yeah,
he says,
just like that.
He says, "Well, shit, now I'm a catfish. I ain't gonna nab this man as a catfish."
Yeah.
So she needs to go to Jabba's palace to turn her into a lady, but it doesn't go according to plan.
No.
And then she sells her voice to Ursula. It's just fantastic. It's really great. It's just I don't know. It feels like a storybook come to life. That's what I love about Little Mermaid.
Just look at her! On legs! On human legs!
I like the songs in it. I like Part of Your World.
Wish I could be part of that world.
Under the Sea.
Under the sea! Darling, it's better down where it's wetter.
That's what she said.
Kiss the Girl.
You gotta kiss the girl.
It's just so fantastic.
Stop saying fantastic.
That's why it's number 8 on my list. Okay, so number 7 on my list is
Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
I know, it's another package movie from World War II, but this one, I feel like it's just connected to me because I grew up with it. I grew up with the Ichabod Crane cartoon, the bubble boom, bubble boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
Not only that, it's funny. I like the whole Ichabod Crane story and how Bing Crosby tells the story and sings it.
Ichabod may be quaint, maybe odd, and maybe he ain't. Anyway, there's no complaint from Ichabod Crane.
I also like Brown Bones, and I also like the Little Croquette Katrina.
You've lost your heart.
I also like the Headless Horseman. He's fucking scary. I think he's one of the underrated Disney villains. I don't think anyone really talks about him, but the Headless Horseman is really creepy, and I like his laugh, like that creepy laugh of his. I don't know, it's just bone chilling. It's actually bone chilling, and it's such a little fantastic sequence of Ichabod running away from the Headless Horseman. And I also like how they use sound effects in this movie. Also, this movie has Mr. Toad.
Milad, with the court's indulgence, I rise prepared to plead my own defense.
Bully, stop it.
One of my all-time favorite Disney characters. Mr. Toad is such an entertaining character.
Come! I'll show you the world! Travel! Change! Excitement!
And This whole story too, I like how it's going through a library and it says one of my favorite characters is Mr. Toad, and it goes on this whole story about his manias and how he's like with Cyril.
We're always in a hurry. We have no time to stall. We've got to be there. We've got to be there. Where we can be gone.
I also like Ratty and Molly and Badger and Mr. Winky. Oh yes, sir. That I do, sir. And it's really fun. And that's why it's number 7. Number 6 on my list is Robin Hood. It's just really great, and like, you know, it's about the characters, you know, like Robin Hood and Little John and Friar Tuck.
That's the poor box.
It sure is, and I'll just take it for poor Prince John.
Get out of my church!
Get out of my church!
And it's just full of little moments, and I also like the rooster in the beginning where he tells the story.
And my job is to tell it like it is, or was, or whatever.
And hang on. This Disney movie has one of my favorite underrated Disney villains. I don't really think people talk about him, but Prince John.
Taxes!
He's just so great, and he's just such a little baby. He's like,
Mother. Mother always did like Richard best.
I don't know, it's just one of those movies. It's so magical.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I like that. You know I do.
And when you watch it as a kid, it just sticks with you about how Robin Hood is giving to the poor, and he's like, bless you. I also like them.
Mama, wait for me.
That's another thing. I usually quote that with my mom. When we're going somewhere, I'm like, Mama, wait for me.
A pox on the phony King of England! Oh, the lally! Oh, no!
Robin Hood is just one of those classic Disney movies that will forever live in everybody's hearts, whoever watches it, even though it uses just walk cycles and reused animation. Reminiscing this and that, having such a good time. Oodalolly, golly, what a day.
Oodalolly, golly, what a day. Oodalolly, golly, what a day.
So number 5 on my list is Beauty and the Beast. To me, it's one of those essential movies growing up. I remember growing up and just watching the opening scene, how beautiful it looked. How it fades up and you see the mountain and you see the castle and you see the trees and there's like a deer eating there, and it has this narration and it tells you about the story about this kid who was an asshole.
Yeah, he really was an asshole.
He was an asshole. You got his number.
And then this witch comes in who looks like Gary Oldman from Lost in Space.
Never fear, Smith is here.
And this witch comes in and he's like, hey, you're 11-year-old asshole. I'm going to curse you and turn you into a beast.
For who could ever learn to love a beast?
For he who sheds his blood with me this day shall be my brother.
And is that story also like Belle? To me, Belle was one of my favorite Disney characters growing up. And she's just so unique and all that. And then Gaston.
I use antlers in all of my decorating.
You know, he's a classic Disney villain. And he comes in and is like, how can you read this? There's no pictures.
There's no
And I just love the story about this movie where, like, her father's an inventor. He's like a quirky inventor. And he's like, I'm going to the science fair. And then he gets lost and he ends up at this castle. And I remember as a kid fearing the beast at that scene.
I'll give you a place to stay.
And it's just really scary. And like he's in the shadow. And this is another thing I want to talk about. If you grew up in the 90s or early 2000s, you had VHSs. And the transfer from film to VHS, it was very different. I remember as a kid watching this movie, and it was very scary because the Beast was always in the shadows, and you never could really see him. You never could see the details. You just see his eyes, and he's like, "Oh, you come to look at the Beast, have you?" And it's scary, right? But as you're older and you grow up, and then you realize there's a thing called Blu-ray, and you watch it on Blu-ray, you realize like it's so clear. And since it's so clear, you could actually see the details of Beast in the shadows, and it's not quite as scary because you could see the details. But now it's like, oh, okay, it's the Beast.
Sometimes when you cage the Beast gets angry.
You have to watch it. It's one of those essential Disney movies. It might be one of the best of all time. I just love the movie. It has great songs in it, you know. It's just Beauty and the Beast, you know, it's a classic.
Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, so we come to number 4. And number 4 on my list is way too fucking high on anybody's list, but it's number 4 on my list. And it's people don't like this movie. I don't think people like this movie. I know my friend Whitney loves it, but I fucking love it, and I watch this a lot. And it's just, I love it. It's Pocahontas. I fucking love this movie. I adore it. It's really great. I love the songs. I love Just Around the River Bend. I love the songs of Pocahontas. To me, it's one of the best Disney soundtracks. That's just my personal opinion. I love fucking Mine.
Mine for the taking.
I also love
Build ourselves an engine, or maybe 2 or 3. We're stalwart and in bold of the Virginia Company.
I like the introduction of the New World. I like how it opens up with fog, and you go down the stream, and you see the entire village, and it's just, you see how their way of life is, and it's just, I don't know, it's just beyond words. I really love Pocahontas. I love the look of it. I love the color palette. I love the purples. I love the blues. I love the greens. And it's just, I fucking love Pocahontas. I love the voice acting.
I will lead our warriors to the river and attack. We will destroy these invaders the way we destroyed the Massawomics.
I love the character design of Pocahontas. The way she moves, and the way she she's creeping up to see what John Smith is doing. And her introduction to John Smith is so fucking beautiful and well done. How he's like hiding underneath the waterfall, and he's like loading his gun, and he hops out and he looks at her, and she slowly rises up and she's looking at him, and her hair is blowing and the light slowly goes on her, and then he just falls in love with her, and it's so fucking magical. And I also love the soundtrack to this movie. It's the it's just, I just love it. I love the leaves and how they blow, and it's just I love the movie. I love what do you call it? All the colors of the wind sequence. It's so fantastic. I remember I used to rewind that sequence as a kid, just to rewatch it.
Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest.
I just love the sequence when they're running through the woods. I also love the eagles at the end.
And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, for whether we are white or copper skinned.
It's just so fantastic. I love that entire sequence. I love the fucking painting sequence. What do you call it? The fucking like chalk painting or whatever. I don't even know what it is. It's that special painting look. And it's such a beautiful movie to me. It's such a beautiful movie. Of course, there's some scenes that are kind of look like a little cheap.
We must sound the drums of war.
They're savages.
I love the entire look of that sequence. I love how it's so red and blue, and how they're putting on their war paint, and how the guys are like gearing up to go to war. To me, it's so cool. And I don't know. I personally love Pocahontas. I understand why people don't like it. Maybe it's too racist. Maybe it's too insensitive to some viewers. Maybe they just don't like it because the characters are just so boring or whatever. But to me, I love Pocahontas. And not only that, but I like the deleted scene of, what do you call it, If I Never Knew You.
If I never knew.
I thought our love would be so beautiful.
So imagine me watching Pocahontas 2 after so long of loving this one. I had never seen the sequel before. I watched Pocahontas 2, and I was just shattered. I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe that Pocahontas just seemed like one of those people who was used.
All this time, why didn't you ever write to me?
I wanted to. I must have started 1,000 letters.
Like, the love wasn't real. It seemed like that scene from Army of Darkness.
What of all the sweet words that you spoke in private?
Oh, well, that's just what we call pillow talk, baby. That's all.
And I could not believe it.
It was more than that.
I do like the ending. It was cheesy. It kind of reminded me of Crank 2.
Let's go home.
So anyway, let's go to number 3. Rescuers Down Under. To me, Rescuers Down Under is so fucking cool. Alright, so you meet Cody, and he lives in the outback, and he just loves animals, and he's going to save this marahute bird. It's a big, giant, huge golden bird. And it's an eagle, right? So he goes and saves it, and he has this magical adventure with it. And he flies around with it, and then he meets one of the greatest villains of all time. Fucking McLeach.
Say, where'd you get this pretty feather, boy?
It was a present.
Oh, that's real nice. Who gave it to you?
It's a secret.
That's no secret, boy. You see, I already got the father.
To me, this and my number 1 pick are the most gorgeous Disney animated movies ever. I love the look of this movie. I love the villain. I love Bernard and Bianca.
Bernard and I have decided to accept the mission to Australia.
Australia? Oh, good.
I also like Joanna. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. Rescuers Down Under.
When the girls all look when I go by, 'cause hey, who killed the music? That's better.
And number 2 on my list is Peter Pan. And I love the story. I love how it opens up.
All this has happened before, and it will all happen again. But this time it happened in London.
It's about Wendy. She doesn't want to grow up, and they're going to force her to grow up. They're going to say,
Young lady, this is your last night in the nursery.
And she's like, I don't want to grow up.
But, Mother, I don't want to grow up.
Now, dear, don't worry about it anymore tonight.
So then, after the parents go out to, like, a party, the kids go to sleep, and then Peter Pan shows up. And Peter Pan is looking for a shadow, and then he's chasing around the room and wakes up Wendy, and Wendy starts stitching his shadow to his shoe, and then he likes her stories. He likes how she tells stories of Peter Pan and his adventures. And she's like, I'm sorry, I can't tell your stories anymore because I have to grow up. And he's like, grow up!
No, I won't have it. Come on. But where are we going? To Neverland.
So she gets taken to Neverland, and everyone acts like a child there. No one is a grown-up there. Even Captain Hook and the pirates. They're all childish.
Save me, please. Don't let him get me, please.
And in this world, she realizes, like, you know what? I can't be a kid forever. I'm going to have to grow up. And I just like it, too, because the irony is because she's such a kid and she doesn't want to grow up, she goes there to become a mother. And it's just, I love it. And when she goes there, and, like, I like how while you're there and you're having so much fun, you actually become forgetful. Because like, there's a scene where, like, the little kid Michael, where he's, like, having fun. But then he's like, what's a mother? And he totally forgets. And it's kind of sad. And the only one who's grounded in reality is Wendy. And I like her song. And like this whole movie actually has a lot of great songs. It has the
Think of a wonderful thought, any merry little thought. Think of Christmas, think of snow, think of sleigh bells, off you go like reindeer in the sky. You can fly, you can fly, you can fly.
And it also has the
What made the red man red?
I also like the entire sequence where they try to save Tiger Lily. I like how Peter Pan is fucking around with Mr. Smee and Captain Hook.
For the last time, Mr. Smee, take the princess back to her people.
I fully enjoy Peter Pan.
Say you're a codfish.
I'm a codfish.
Louder!
I'm a codfish!
I adore the ending of Peter Pan. The ending where the father comes home and he's like, oh, I'm so sick and tired about hearing Peter Pan, and then the mother looks outside and she's like,
George? George?
Now what, Mary? Nana, did you see? You know, I have the strangest feeling that I've seen that ship before. A long time ago. When I was very young.
And you start tearing up because you're like, oh my god, like he also went to Neverland with Peter Pan and he also believed. And he just needed to get in touch with his child inside by seeing that, and it just connects him. And this movie is such a movie that connects with almost like any generation. You could watch this movie and it's just magical. You could watch it if you're 5, you could watch it if you're 60, and you just getting wrapped up in the story, and it's just such a classic tale. So we come to number 1 on my list. Sleeping Beauty is such an achievement to me, even though it didn't do well at the box office and it almost wrecked Disney Animation Studios. But it kind of shows because so much work and effort went into this and so much time and money. All the backgrounds of this movie is fantastic.
Every cell in that film was a masterpiece. Every single frame was a masterpiece. Well, of course, that came, with cost. And Disney could no longer lavish that much attention on a feature film any longer. Costs were just going through the roof. And so Sleeping Beauty was truly the end of an era of that kind of Disney filmmaking.
And then, like, all the animation and the look of Aurora and the look of Maleficent.
Listen well, all of you. The princess shall indeed grow in grace and beauty, beloved by all who know her. But before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die.
It's such a great introduction to a villain because she's so mean and she's very beautiful looking.
Oh, they're hopeless. A disgrace to the forces of evil.
I love the fairy godparents in this. They all have their own personalities.
Now yeast, 1 tisp. Tisp? 1 teaspoon.
You have to think, like, holy shit, this was made in 1959. It's a huge achievement for Disney. And not only that, but I love Aurora's voice. Her singing voice is so beautiful. Like, it captures me. I know people don't like it because it's very simple and kind of boring. But that's what a fairy tale kind of is, It's just like, once upon a time, there was
Aurora.
Sweet Aurora.
It's very classic and down to the basics. There's good, and then there's evil. And that's what I love about this movie. And not only that, but I like the design of the prince. I know animators don't like animating the prince because he's such a boring character, but I feel like they kind of gave this one personality.
No carrots.
Prince Philip! Oh my god, I also love the fathers.
Shock? My Philip a shock? What's wrong with my Philip?
I love their whole storyline, how they're arguing about where Aurora and where Philip should live.
You mean you're building it already?
Built, man! Finished! Lovebirds can move in tomorrow.
Tomorrow? But Hubert, they're not even married yet.
It's just a fantastic work of art, and I appreciate all the effort that went into it.
I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream.
that's my top 10 list. I know some of you might be saying, where's Frozen? Where is it? Where's Lion King? Where is it? It's just, personal taste.
Slimy, yet satisfying.
I like Lion King. It's a perfectly fine movie, but it's not one of those ones I would pick. Why? If I had all 53 Disney animated movies in front of me, I would not pick Lion King right away. I do love it. I love Uncle Scar.
Long live the king.
But it's just, it's not one of those ones that, connects with me. I appreciate it, though. And also, the same thing with any other Disney movie. I appreciate them. I love them as what they are. I even love the underappreciated ones. I love Atlantis.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
To me, that's one of the most underappreciated ones, along with Black Cauldron. I know it's not one of the well-known Disney movies, but I actually love Black Cauldron. I like the characters in that.
Oh boy, what a juicy apple.
This is just my top 10 favorite list. I didn't do my top 10 best of all time because I don't really like doing a best of all time list because it's always different. I would like to hear yours. Post your comments below. Tell me your top 10 favorites. Maybe make a video response. I'd like to see you guys, talk about how they make you feel. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Hopefully you watched the whole thing. And, I'm glad I have 10,000 subscribers. Thank you guys.
Come over here, big group hug. Group hug.
You guys are what makes this channel worth it. It's nice to know that there's an audience out there, and that's just great. And, thank you for subscribing, and see you next time.
Hello, if you can hear me, congratulations. Way to go. Way to go. You made it through. You made it through. You spent all that time, and now you're done. You did it.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to